Hi, comic book fans, and welcome to suddenlycomics.com. As you will hear from my voice, I am recovering from a cold. However, my colleague here, Allan, is in blushing health, so he will talk more than me during this review of the key Silver Age sales Heritage Comics last week, and let's share my screen and we will kick off. And our first one, Alan, is not this one. We just talked about that on your channel. Oh, here we go.
I love this
Prototype
book.
Groot. Oh, no, it's not Prototype Groot. It does say Groot on it.
It is Groot. It is Groot. So, I mean, it's a different version of Groot, than the one that we know from the movies. Actually, the one from the movies is actually a pretty recent character. Even the second appearance of Groot is not the Groot from the movies. Actually, Groot made his first appearance in Star-Lord, I believe, Star-Lord Conquest or something like
Okay.
that. Number one. So yeah, so it's like but this is the Groot that inspired the Groot from the
Yeah, well,
movie.
he's a living walking tree who
Yeah,
says, "I am Groot."
Groot.
So,
Well, he doesn't say he's a actual. See, behold, I am Groot, the invincible. Who dares? He's very verbose in this.
yeah, he says more.
Yeah. So very different version of the Groot. He's got a full vocabulary. Um, and it's a 5.5. So this is a hard book to get, and it is been a key for a long time. I mean, people love the
Oh yeah,
character.
yeah.
So this is a fairly strong sale of $3,240
Yep.
for first appearance of the Groot in the Tales to Astonish 13.
Yeah, well, that's quite a high grade for that comic, and I think that's probably a reasonable price. Oh no, it's way down.
Oh, way down. I mean, again, this is another one of those books that really did spike during COVID. But if you look at the overall trend, if you kind of ignore that mountain, which is the
Okay,
COVID
it's
bump,
it's sort of okay. 3-2. Just before COVID, it was 3-1, so it's sort of okay. Just
yeah,
about.
it's just about. It's probably still trying to find its floor, and then it's going to go up again.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I feel bad whoever bought it at the mountain peak, but yeah,
there's a few people. Yeah,
yeah. But definitely it's a cool book. Look at the census on it. I mean,
yeah.
really low census.
Well, it is for a Marvel comic. It's 604.
604. I mean, that's really low for a Marvel comic. That's more like a DC comic level.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's a fairly hard book to find, and this is a fairly high grade for it. If you go to the census,
Yeah,
I don't even think there's that many super high grades for this
there
one.
isn't. There won't be many. There's no 96s, no 98s.
Yeah,
Nine-
194,
Never sold.
192.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
just
5.5 is actually a pretty good grade for this.
yeah. So that's what I was saying. It's a bit of a hard one to get. It's one of the harder Marvel books to get. Even like I always say, oh, Hulk 1 is kind of like the book to get because of its scarcity. But this is a more scarce book. Like this is about half as rare, half as common.
I wonder
So
what would happen if either of these two came up. There's 194, 192.
mhm.
What would happen if either of those two came up?
And what was the last sale for the 9.2? Because we
10 years ago.
so I mean, this is probably going to be like a I don't know, $50,000-$60,000 book.
I think, yeah, 30 to 40, I would have said. Maybe even, might be right, actually. 40 to
Because
50.
like usually if it's 10 years, what I do is just take the price and double it.
Yeah, which would be
That's
30.
which would be around 30.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it would go for higher than that as used
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the rarity. This just
And also 10 years ago, when did First Guardians come out?
it must be about 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe even longer. It's been a while. Um, but yeah, so definitely a cool book. One that you just don't see that often. And it's, that this was a pretty good sale. A very flat sale, actually, when we look at the whole overall trend, but yeah, still a cool book.
Right. Next up, Flash number 137. I know nothing
137.
about this comic, Alan.
Another high grade one. It is a key as well. If you read the thing, I think it's the first appearance of somebody, first Silver Age or something.
First
Of
Silver Age
the
appearance of Vandal Savage.
Yeah,
Second Silver Age appearance of the JSA. Okay.
yeah. So Vandal Savage, I believe, was in the Flash series, or in yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is this him here in the
Yes.
black?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Vengeance of the Immortal Villain. Okay.
And the cool thing about this one is you got the Golden Age Flash fighting the Silver Age Flash, which is, always good. People like when, you get your heroes fighting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is 9-4 white pages.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll have to get that boxing match we were planning to organise, Alan.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely I think it's a cool book. So yeah, so that's the interesting thing about DC is like you have your first Golden Age appearance and then you have your first Silver Age appearance
Yeah,
actually in another. So,
you get
but the
double
characters
whammy.
were slightly different. So
Okay, 3,840. That sounds quite
seems like a strong sale. I think this is a fairly
for
strong
a
sale.
DC. It does 9,4. Here we go.
Oh, it's
Well,
back up, but it had a massive sale a long time ago.
there's a massive sale in 2006. Then it the
Then
next
it,
sold to in 12 years later,
for about a third
sold
of the
for about a
price.
third the price. This is a really peculiar graph, and it's done all right since then.
And sort of picked back up again. But man, whoever bought it, like that $7,000 sale. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, wow. So yeah, so that's not typical that you
No,
see it like spike.
if you ignore that one,
It's a,
it's okay.
it's yeah, it's got a good trend. Other than that one sale, how common of a book is this?
Oh, this
Like
can't be
what's
that common. No, 630.
wow, so really low census count. So a lot of these books, even the Marvels. Um, so yeah, I mean this is I'm surprised that it had that massive sale. It could have been one of those cases. Is there a 9.6 or 9.8 in this one?
Let's have a look.
So it's sometimes what happens is it's tops of the census at a
Well,
particular time.
yeah, there's no 9.8s, Alan, but there are 6.96s.
Yeah, so probably at the time it might have been top of the census, and then more to get discovered, and all of a sudden, oh, my top of the census book is not top of the census. And then the prices get killed. Um,
Yeah, possibly.
yeah, so I've seen that happen before. So I think I feel bad for whoever bought that, but oh well. Still a cool book. Um, so 9.6, yeah, sells for it hasn't sold for many years, so we don't know. But definitely this is a reasonable sale for 9.4. Just
Yeah,
ignore that one
I
outlier.
that's a reasonable sale. Yeah, okay. Next up, oh, a regular appearance here.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, Mark's not gonna be super happy with this list because there are
No,
a few regular
I don't mind
appearances.
Daredevil one. I quite think I like
Okay.
it
Okay.
because it was heavily undervalued for a load of time. Then it went loopy during COVID.
And now let's
The last time
that's
we
what
looked at it, it had come back halfway between where it was at the COVID peak and where it was before COVID. So it's hung on to some of its gains. Last time we
yeah.
looked at it. Let's see how it's done this time.
This is a 6.0 Daredevil #1, first appearance of the Daredevil, Matt Murdock. And it's a 6,600.
I think
So it's
that's a
pretty,
decent price. I think that's a decent price, Alan.
I think it's a little low actually.
Oh, well, It's higher than that, so it's not on the graph yet. So it's back up at this sort of level, Alan.
Oh, that's good. So it's actually way above the
Yeah,
like. I mean, this book it just shows you how undervalued this book was, like pre-COVID or
pre-COVID,
pre.
this was a 2000, $2,500 book. It peaked at COVID at nearly eight, and it's sort of come back down to about six. So it's
Yeah,
it's it's still double what it was pre-COVID.
like I actually felt like during COVID it was kind of getting to where it should have been. You know what I mean? Because it was just so undervalued. I'm not even sure why it was so undervalued. Because Daredevil is like, it's a one of the more popular characters for Marvel. I just don't get why it was so undervalued. But if you look at the census, it might give you a little clue.
Oh yeah, there's loads of them. Yeah,
That's why. Because this came out later. This was like, a character that was brought out is it 66?
64.
64. So this is right after you have, Fantastic Four, X-Men,
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, all the
Spider-Man.
pretty big, and even Hulk. So people were kind of already kind of getting excited about any new character that was coming out, and a lot of these were kept. So when you have that kind of high census count, it really does hurt the value. Um,
Well,
but still,
it's hanging in there at around a 5 to 6 thousand level at the moment.
yeah, that's not too bad. It's two times the you know pre-COVID price, which is a very strong price for this book. Yeah, I think I just thought it was a cool one. I
Yeah.
always like to sort of keep an eye on certain books, and that's one of them. The next one is also a book I like to keep an eye on. This is a Fantastic Four #1, sort of the book that brought back Marvel as a company. Um, and it's a 3-5, first appearance of the Fantastic Four.
It's a nice
So
looking 3.5.
yeah, actually really solid. I'm not sure what's the issue with it.
Well, there's a crease, there's a subscription crease by the looks of it.
It looks like there's a lot of like
There's
issues.
a lot of stuff going on down on the bottom.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean
it looks like a
it's a used copy, isn't it?
yeah, it looks like it
Three
could
five
be
might be a
actually.
bit harsh.
Yeah, I think it should be around a 4 based on just those kind of flaws.
Yeah.
I've seen books get a 4, even a 4.5 sometimes, very rarely, but yes, 3.5 seems a little harsh for this one. But
Wow.
yeah, just 24,000. So that's a really so I have this book in a 5.0, but it's restored. So when I see these prices, I'm always amazed, how much the books can go for. Um, I only paid $5,000 or 3,000 for my copy, something like that. So
Well, stop making me jealous.
something like that. It was like 3 or 4,000. Yeah. Um, okay.
I
So
have my Allan class Fantastic Four #1. That's going to have to keep me happy.
I
Right.
have your Allan class
You do.
Fantastic
You have
Four.
my lower grade one. Yes, when I
Oh, yeah.
upgraded.
I like that book. It's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Um, so
Right.
yes,
Okay, let's see whether this is up or down. I think that's not a bad price, Alan. Three
seems
five.
like a good price to me, actually.
Yeah, it is. Look, it's up.
A
Um,
lot. Actually, kind of a spike up,
yeah,
believe me.
yeah. So there's the COVID peak, 33,000. Down it comes to about 15, and we're now back at 24.
That's a pretty good return, actually.
Yeah, this is not dropping further, Alan. This has hit its bottom and has gone up. It's good to
Yeah,
see.
that is very good to see. I would actually say that that is a strong record. If you look at the trend line, this is like way over that trend line. I mean, I would say the trend line is even before all that COVID bump, before like all the like you see it kind of being kind of like a gradual increase, and then it spikes, and then it kind of you know Um, this could be based on the rumors of the well, not just rumors, but the truth that there's going to be a new Fantastic Four
Well,
movie coming out
and Alan, if you sort of ranking top Silver Age comics, you're
this
obviously
would be
going to
one of
go
them.
Amazing Fantasy, ASM one, but I think Fantastic Four one is in the mix there, isn't it?
I would like personally, if it was me that was ranking them, I would say just of Marvel. I let's ignore DC for a minute. I would say Amazing Fantasy 15. I would say Fantastic Four number one,
Yeah.
Hulk number one.
Okay.
Um, then maybe something like maybe Amazing Spider-Man number, actually maybe X-Men one,
Yeah.
and then Amazing Spider-Man number one would be kind of my order.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Mhm.
I probably no, I'd have Fantastic Four one first. I mean, I'm not because
Yeah,
but it's purely bias, because I'm not a Spider-Man person.
yeah. Well, the reason I like Fantastic Four number one is more because I always like that history element of the book as well.
Yeah.
Because this
Yeah.
is historical.
Yeah.
This book really brought Marvel back as a company. I mean, Marvel was like kind of a company that was circling the drain. It was a pretty dead company at this time. And this book brought it back.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. Very good. I like that one.
and how many? Just quickly, how many were on the census before? I always love to know how many on the census.
I can imagine it's a fair number. No, 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000. That's about average for DC. For Marvel, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Okay,
so
now,
good one.
Alan, we have gone. Last week we had no Spider-Man comics, and we have had no Spider-Man for the first 9 comics we've done this week. Are you going to give me
Um,
20-ish comics without a Spider-Man?
no,
Ah,
sorry, I can't be that good to you. um,
I
now
knew it
when
was
I
too
saw
good to be
this,
true. There we go.
yeah, when I saw this, I always like to keep track of it. So uh, I know that it's usually $8,000 a point is my kind of reference for this book in my mind. So when I saw this sale for 4 or 5, and it sold for 40,000 plus. It sold for 44 or 45. No,
40.
40. 40. Okay. So that's actually up in my mind. Because as I said, I go for around 8,000 a point in my mind.
All right.
So I think that's a pretty good price.
Well,
Not record price. I'm not saying that, but definitely up.
so the last time we looked at this, Alan, the question we were still saying it was
Is
dropping.
Yeah, is
Okay.
it gonna hit the floor and
Has it
ever?
has it has it bounced?
Yeah.
Yes, it has bounced.
Yeah, so like as I said, I always have that $8,000 a point in my mind. So
Oh,
yeah.
wait a minute though. This 26,000 sale, is that the one where somebody got a real deal on?
No, there was another one. It was a different one where it was like $5,000. It was like insane sale.
Yeah, okay.
So
So
this is
somebody
actually,
got one of these in October for 25,000.
yeah, that is a good sale actually. Somebody did well.
Now it's
Um,
selling for 44. So it looks to have
come back up.
come, well, it has from there, but you have to say, is that an outlying sale? I think it is.
I think the $20,000 sale is a outlier sale.
Yeah, but so it's about flat. It's holding flat around this 40,000, 45,000 level.
But if you compare, like, look at the pre-COVID value.
So
It's
pre-COVID 28. Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
doing right. Yeah,
no, it's doing well. I mean, this is up considerably from that pre-COVID thing. I
yeah.
mean, this book was kind of like overly priced because of one sale. One sale made all Amazing Fantasy books go crazy. When you had that 3.65 million dollar sale, which I think was a outlier sale. Actually, I think it was way overpriced, and somebody just, I think it was like a consortium that bought it and just was trying to have like some big asset. It was like it was something that messed up the market. That one big sale messed up the market, and it's recovered from that mess up, I think, and it's actually up overall. So I think this is a good sale, and
Yeah,
we're almost
no, it's definitely appears to have bottomed out, Alan. So
Mhm.
yeah, this appears to have floored out around the £45,000 level. Uh,
Yeah. And so I think getting to that, I think when it gets to around $10,000 a point, I think that's probably where it's gonna. That's where that's my projection for this book, $10,000 per point.
yeah,
So
it's
I
not
think
that
it's going to
far.
get to
Well,
that
a bit needs to go
forty-five
up a bit
thousand.
more to get to that. Yeah.
Yep, it's got a little ways to go, but I think within a year or two. So
Okay, so there's Alan's spec for you. Go out and buy your amazing
yeah, yeah,
4.5 for $40,000, and in a couple of years' time, you'll have made $10,000. And if
yeah,
you haven't, don't come to me. Go to Canada and seek him out.
yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's a good book. I really do. And I think it's one that has the potential to become a great book again. Just the demand, like the number of people that like Amazing Spider-Man always outweighs the fact that the census count for this book is insane. You know, it's
Well, it's 3,800. I mean, we've seen a lot higher than that. I mean, but it's
well, it's that's a fairly high census count,
well,
right?
what's ASM one? It's about 7.5, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's but it's just always supply and demand, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, we both agree that this is the number one book for the Silver Age
Well,
In terms of Marvel.
yeah, I've got them very close. Fantastic Four one and this. I suppose
Yeah,
it's this because it's got a higher value. Um,
yeah, but also it's like it's sort of the iconic book as well, right? You think of Amazing Spider-Man, as being like kind of the major character for the Silver Age, right? you know, um, I would sort of say it's sort of like Deadpool is the one for the 90s, right? Or Wolverine is the one for the 70s. It's that kind of which character would you say is the character that most represents that era? Well, I'd say it's Spider-Man.
yeah, I suppose you're right. I
Yeah.
suppose you're right. Uh,
Okay, so I had to keep this book on the list just for you. I hope it helps you feel better and get over your cold.
no, you'll have noticed my cough got significantly worse in the last 5. Um, yeah. So there we go. That is it for this week, guys. Let's hope my voice is back to normal next week, next Monday. So I apologise for my croaky voice this week. Thanks, Alan, for putting up with me, for putting together the list as usual. That's your lot. See ya again soon.